Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Wilhelm Scream, and welcome back to another day in Destiny 2 for some more Destiny 2 news and the last week of Beyond Light Season of the Lost. It's been quite a long road, but we finally made it. And with this last week, Bungie has done us quite the favor and given us the best strike probably ever to farm. Of course, I'm talking about the Lake of Shadows. And if you do this at Grandmaster and can get a platinum score, you will be able to get your hands on the Hothead Rocket Launcher Adept or a Hung Jury Adept Scout Rifle. I think the Hung Jury is leaving us this season, so if you haven't gotten it, this might be your last chance. You might just be wanting to farm out this strike for Ascendant Shards, as it is the quickest strike to complete. And of course, I'm going to be sharing with you all the glitches, cheeses, and things that you can do to make this farm even faster. So the first thing that I wanted to talk about, and this will really only apply to those who are going for that Grandmaster difficulty, and this is the new way to actually glitch out the Blight section of this strike. Now this will make the strike quite a bit longer. However, if you are doing it solo, this might be one of the only ways you can actually get past this section without having to take tons of chances or, restarts, because that part is really tough. There's a lot of ads. So what you'll see me doing here is going through a series of tunnels and sort of circumnavigating the map. This might be an area that a lot of people haven't been to or maybe just forgot about. I have to be honest, I totally forgot about it. But what this will do is essentially skip over that first hallway that you walk down for the Blights, and you'll come in behind the second Blight. Because the way that this was patched was, it's not so much that you have to do them in a specific order anymore. It's that once you cross the middle barrier in that first hallway, so essentially right before you would encounter the second Blight, all the ads will spawn in. That is the new way that they've fixed how we used to do it, which was essentially just doing them in reverse. But if you do it this way, and you go to the third one first, and then the second one, and then go back around this way. This is, of course, if you're doing it solo. If you're doing it with teammates, they could just take out the first one. But in either case, they would have to also do this. So they would have to come back around. You can skip having to take on all the ads at once. So it's really the only way to do this at this point. So essentially, you would go around the whole part of the map before you actually take out the first Blight, go take out this one, then take out the second one, then go back around. And that's how it'll work. Or your teammates can join you. They could probably just come around the opposite direction. That's the only real way to do this at this point. I'm sure some people will find it useless, especially if you're doing it in a group, because it really will slow up the run. And this strike is short enough where a good, competent group, I think, at this point, since we are sort of in the last week of the season, plus maybe 2 or 3 months, most people will be able to actually get through this section. But for those of you who are attempting to do it solo, this will probably be your best option. Now, moving forward into the rest of the strike, the really major glitch that will probably help you speed up this thing, even if you're doing it in a group or if you're doing it solo the most, will be the we'll call it the bridge skip glitch. That's what I've called it in the past. And possibly you've seen this on my channel before. There's actually a couple of ways that you can do this even faster if you're working with a team that has the ability to sort of time out when people spawn in. And there is a way to prevent you from spawning in. So if you're doing this in a team of 3, you could actually skip this part and actually do a whole other thing where you actually go right to the end of this part. I'll tell you when we get there, but this is probably the most straightforward method. So what you'll do is, if you're doing it solo or in a group, you'll fly into this zone and you'll keep your Sparrow up there at the door. The Sparrow won't despawn anymore, which is really great. If you're doing it solo, you'll progress down to the bottom area and you have to kill the boss at the bottom first. And there'll be 2 champions, if you're doing this at Grandmaster, out on the bridge as soon as you exit. You'll have to kill them first as well, and then you'll be able to backtrack. Now, if you're doing this in a group, you could just send your teammates down there unless you want to go help them out, but maybe it'll be quicker to just move ahead, especially if you're just farming this for Ascendant Shards. So if you're doing this at anything lower than a Grandmaster, I would just send your 2 teammates down to the beginning of the bridge. Like you see me here, they'll take out these 2 champions that'll be outside on the first section of the bridge, and then they can just wait there. The other teammate, or if you're doing it solo, you'll do what you'll see me do next, which is you'll go back, either backtrack, or you could just skip right to this part if you are in a group. Head up to the top, get back on your Sparrow, which should still be there waiting for you. Hop back on, and then move over to this side, which will be the left side of the, call it this sort of gantry section. It'll be the left side of the stairs, first left side of the stairs, and you'll see a grate on the left. Park your Sparrow right next to that grate. There will be a boss here. If you do come in and you are doing it in a group, make sure you kill that one little mini yellow bar enemy, because otherwise it can give you some trouble when you're trying to actually glitch through this wall like we're going to do. But then you'll just park your Sparrow right next to this grate and then dismount off the Sparrow. And what that'll do, might take a couple of tries, is it'll push you through this grate and you'll be outside the map. Now once outside, you can then actually skip the entire bridge. Now the reason that your teammates won't need to actually do the bridge is because once you're on the opposite side of the bridge, they'll actually be able to just jump off and they'll respawn in with you. You'll get adjoining allies. But there is a few more steps before they do that, so don't do it right away. You're going to have to then jump down through this window up top. Try not to hit the edges, just jump right over and down. Jump from the bottom. That's the trick, is you have to go right from the bottom and then just drop through the top. Make your way down. There won't be any ads spawning in this section yet. But then you can make your way back over to where you would normally have that blighted door, the one that doesn't open until you actually kill the yellow bar on the opposite side of it. It's that one that's right at the end of the bridge, on the opposite side, so opposite from where you actually entered the bridge area. But once you kill that yellow bar enemy, that door will open. That's actually the only enemy that you need to kill on the bridge in order to progress. There will be champions, of course, so if you're going for that platinum, you're going to want to make sure that you can take out those extra champions that will be on this side of the bridge. Remember, you can leave one champion alive and still get a platinum score. I actually think that this gives you a much better place to take out those champions, simply because they're more stacked together and you're not having to fight through a wave of ads and they're not sniping you from a distance. You're kind of in more cover. But once you take out that one yellow bar enemy, on this side, you'll be able to then progress forward. You'll see the door open up, and your teammates will then be able to jump off and join you, and you can just progress through the rest of the strike. You could also just take out the other champions from this side. You'll see that the ads will spawn in at this point. A lot of people do like to leave this one champion that's sitting up here on the next bridge area, or not really bridge area, but I guess next stair area. There's one on the left side, I believe, which is a sniper champion. Kind of annoying. I actually say take that one out. And you can pick. I mean, the ones on the bridge, there's one at a distance that I tend to like to leave. This one, you can all stack up together and sort of take him out. I think it's easier to take this one out rather than skip and just leave the other one on the bridge. But I'll leave that to you. You can do however you want. But this is just an option. You'll make your way through the rest of the strike as normal. Now, earlier, I did say when loading into this strike, there is another way that you can actually bypass even more than what I've shown you here, and that's simply by using the old menu glitch, which is you have one of your fire team continually toggle back and forth between your map menu and your player loadout menu. While doing that, it will delay their loading into the actual strike. You and maybe another teammate will load in, And you'll be able to actually fly through or sparrow through most of the strike, even to the actual initial stairs. And there's a graded door, the first one, right as you come through the initial door, that you can actually fly through, sparrow through, because it will not be shut. Now, if you are able to get through that before your teammate spawns in, that's when you would tell him to spawn in, you can actually progress right to that final room where you fight the wizard. You'll need the sparrow. You can get through the grate, but you'll need the sparrow through the grate, the initial grate, so that you can do that same sparrow glitch to get through the second grate, which won't be until the wizard room. Otherwise, you'll just get trapped in there. It's kind of tricky. I wouldn't necessarily suggest doing that one without a little bit of practice, but it is a way to speed run this. Now, the final little cheese or glitch that you could use for the boss room, and there's two, is you can get above ground. Now, this is really only for people who are doing this solo. Most people will probably just throw a bubble or a well down and then just nuke the boss with swords, but you can get up to this one little spot, and if you're on a warlock or a very skilled titan, there is a way on the right side where you can get up above the actual map completely, but it's very tough. You have to do a lot of in-game parkour. You can see I kind of get there, but what we're really going to be going for is the top of this ruined section. So I actually don't get quite to where you would want to be, but it would be that top ledge right up there. You can actually get up there if you're using heat rising, but it's very tough, as I've said. It is a very safe spot, though, so if you are doing it solo, it might be worth giving it a try to get up there after you or before you actually start this whole encounter, but that's just if you're doing it solo. And that's going to be it for all the information in today's video. Hopefully you found something in this helpful. It's the last week, everybody, so get to farming. Ascendant shards, you know, you don't have to do this on Grandmaster to really get a good Ascendant shard farm. I would say just doing it on Master, or maybe even lower than that. Well, I think Master might be the lowest that you can actually get Ascendant shards from. There might be a small chance on ones slightly lower than that, but maybe on Legend. But in any case, it's a great strike to farm. It's going to be sad. Well, I'm not sad to see this season go, but, you know, the last week and all, lots of new stuff coming. We're probably not going to be playing this strike again because it's not going to be in a Grandmaster rotation, at least for a bit. Certainly not next season. So enjoy it while you can. If you enjoyed this video, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe to the YouTube channel for more Destiny 2 content in Witch Queen. Going to be a lot of stuff coming. Power level farming, all that stuff. The best ways to max out your power in Witch Queen. Going to have all that coming next week. Maybe a few things to prep for by the end of this week. Any of those things, like commenting and subscribing and turning on that bell notification, will enter you into any future giveaways on this YouTube channel. The next one is at 56,000 subscribers. You can also follow me on Instagram or Twitter. They'll be linked in the description box down below, or you can leave any of the hashtags listed beneath this video in the comments section for another entry into that giveaway for this video. Remember, those stack between all videos. So if you haven't done this on a previous piece of content on this channel, you can always go back and do it again. And as always, once again, I am Wilhelm Scream. Of course, we will see you next time. Little.